So if you've been to the Affinity website in the last couple of days, I'm thinking in the last week and a half now, you'll see this banner, this announcement. It says Creative Freedom is coming, and you have an opportunity to sign up to be the first to know whatever they send out. And they say true creative freedom is just around the corner on October 30th. And that's interesting. That's very, very interesting and worth talking about. Now, this has a lot of people kind of worried, thinking that they might perhaps switch to a subscription model, and they're calling this creative freedom. I think there's a little bit more to it than that. These are my predictions, and this is why I think Adobe should be a little bit worried about whatever this announcement is. Because if you've watched my channel before, you know that I hate Adobe. I just don't like their ecosystem. I think that they're just a big, stereotypical, greedy corporation. I really don't admire their business practices whatsoever, and they are very undemocratic in terms of how they allow people to express themselves in creative with software, especially when there are cheaper or free alternatives out there or one-time purchase alternatives out there that are capable of doing the same things that their products are doing. And that's why this Affinity thing is worth talking about. So yeah, there is a lot of talk about how this could be a switch to a subscription model. And here's why I don't think that's the case. Affinity knows their user base. Affinity knows that they are the alternative to Adobe. And a lot of the reasons that they even have their customers is the fact that they're a one-time purchase. That even when a new big version update comes, you don't have to update if you don't want to, just because that one is a one-time upgrade fee. But for all the smaller updates in between, you don't have to pay for those. If they were to fully switch over to a subscription model, a lot of their user base, including myself, would be gone. I'm not going to pay monthly for something like that. I'll find something else. I'll start using GIMP before I start paying monthly for this type of software, because that type of software exists and I'm not going to pay monthly for it. You know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of others that share that same sentiment, because this company is supposed to be the company that makes you not want to pay monthly to Adobe. What I think they might have on the table is perhaps an option to switch to a subscription model optionally, in the same way that DaVinci Resolve did. So if you don't know, you can also access DaVinci Resolve via a monthly payment if you choose to do it that way. So if you only need Resolve for 1 or 2 months, well, then you can only pay however much the monthly fee is for that amount of time, and not have to buy the full studio version of Resolve to have access to features, where you could just pay it monthly instead and have it for a short amount of time. I kind of wonder, and it just makes me think, with creative freedom, is that what they're up to? Because even if that was the case, if nothing else changed and that was the case, that's still a better deal than Adobe, just because Adobe mandates that if you're going to use this stuff and have access to it, you have to pay their monthly fee. Whereas this is a cheaper one-time payment, and still would be a better deal, just because their monthly would be lower, just because competitive marketplace exists. I think if they were to go that route, they're safe. I think they're in the clear. I'm still personally going to continue using the full version, just because I've paid for it. And when version 3 does come, I will be paying for that update, just because that's an update that I think is worth having, especially with all these AI features that Affinity is just missing out on currently. If you're going to stay relevant, you need to have AI features nowadays. And that brings me to my third point, is AI integration. I really do think that perhaps what they're getting at, especially with the tagline of creative freedom, perhaps might be taking off the limitations that not having AI in a software like this imposes on the user. There is a lot more, I say, creative freedom in the tools such as Photoshop, where you can just circle something and say, I want to put a red balloon here, and boom, it pops up. But, obviously that costs a lot, and Adobe's subscription prices are only going up and up and up and up. So if somehow Affinity can implement that type of AI into their software and still beat Adobe on the market, it's game over. There's no chance that Adobe stands face to face with Affinity like this, just because that right now, as far as I see it, is the only type of feature and the only thing that separates Adobe's software and Adobe's products from Affinity's products, is that one of them has AI features and the other just does not. Now, obviously, there's still a few things here and there that we could use improvement, but those things exist in every software. So in terms of pitting Affinity versus Adobe, I don't think those things are worth pairing against. However, creative freedom does kind of ring some bells in my head, just because it makes me think, are we getting the version 3 update? Are we getting a bunch of AI tools and features? I don't know. I surely do hope so. But all of this said, I do think that regardless of whatever they have cooking up here, that Adobe should be worried, just because Affinity has positioned itself in the market to be the Adobe alternative and to be the better option in the face of Adobe. So if they can play their cards right and keep this going, or keep that momentum strong, I really do think that whatever they have going on here should be of dire concern to Adobe, because if they can offer the same stuff at the same quality and the same features and whatnot, why would anybody pay monthly for Adobe for those things? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can get the same thing in a cheaper alternative, why would you keep that? You know what I mean? Just learn a couple keyboard shortcuts to make the difference, and you get the same thing. You're capable of making the same thing. It would be ridiculous to want to continue paying more money for something that you could get for less money at the same time. So that's just my take. I will also point out that on the website here, even if you wanted to purchase the Affinity software, you can't. Right now, in this period of time, you don't even have that option to purchase their software at the moment, just because they've locked it down and they're apparently very excited about whatever it is they have to show us on October 30th. So right now, it's about 8:30 p.m. on October the 19th, 11 more days, or 10 more days if you count this as the end of the day. But we're about a week and a half away from figuring out what they have cooking, what they got up their sleeve, and I'm definitely very excited to see what it is. I think that whatever it is, it's taking shots at Adobe just because of the nature of the market, but we'll see. So if you have any predictions, or if you have anything that you think you might want to share with regards to this news, drop it down in the comments. If you like this video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, more news updates and DaVinci Resolve tutorials, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.